sister's house had no power. I was doing it on my phone, plugged into my car, like power jack.
Yeah,
so it was
crazy.
But it worked. It was good.
Nice. That's
good.
But,
I'm Chris. How's it going?
Good. How you doing? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I've definitely been in your shop a number of times. I've been familiar with your site for a very long time, growing up on Long Island surfing. So it's nice to finally meet the person.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
So been around for a bit.
Yeah. I gotta tell you, I'm psyched. I'm just psyched to see Mike. Whenever I see Mike, it's fleeting. It's like he's on the dunes with a big fat camera, and I'm like, freezing my tail off and trying to run to my car, and or I like run into the shop and he's busy with a customer, or it's been a long time, so it's good. It's nice.
Yeah, you guys get some waves the other day, or?
No.
I get it on Monday, and I got like an hour and a half, 2 hour window that was really nice in the morning before the wind got on it out of the north.
Yep.
But I only got like one nice little tube. I was surfing Monmouth County, kind of near Bradley Beach.
Yeah.
And it was good, but it wasn't as good as the following days. Like, it started building that day, and that evening, right before the sun went down, it went off. And the next day was really good, but I took my kids to the Natural History Museum, so I was like kind of out of commission that day.
Yeah.
But it was good. There's a lot of good footage.
Nice. Yeah, it was good up here for a little bit, for sure. So
yeah,
no real tubes, but definitely fun.
There's some pictures that look pretty good.
Yeah, it was good. It's crowded, packed.
Yeah.
I saw an Instagram post from Dave Wan, and he was just like, I think he just like posted a few words. He was like, yeah, really good waves, but super crowded. And I was just like,
Yeah, it was the worst that pretty much anybody has seen. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's just, Lido's always crowded. I feel Lido's always crowded when you have that, like, that first hurricane swell, and people are kind of, for days in advance, and everyone's kind of all on it. But this one was like next level crowded, like crazy. Guys plates from everywhere, plates from Maine to Florida. It was kind of
nice. I know. Listen, we grew up there. We know the wave is good, and then all of a sudden the world found out it was good, and then. But there are so many other places to surf. Why do you got to go there? You know?
I think it's like the ease of it. You park and you literally walk over a dune, and you're there, and then it's also like with the wind, it's not many places to go, and with northeast wind on the entire East Coast, there's only a handful of places, and that place is just kind of like, if you go anywhere, you're gonna, I would go there. I mean, knowing what I know, but who knows, man? It's it was something to deal with, but it was all right. Like people, it was aggro in the morning, but then kind of mellowed out over the afternoon and the next day. So,
did you get the water, or were you shooting the whole time?
I just actually shot from the water. I was gonna surf for a bit, but I kind of like, honestly, the board I couldn't get a board in time. The board I have feels like just a little small. So I don't know. I hate like struggling out there, especially with the crowd. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to like kind of duck around people and get my little. I kind of got Lido wired, so I can I know.
Right.
I feel like I know, when they kind of come in, at least when it's really doing it, they kind of come in a certain way, and I have it kind of dialed. But on that board, there's no way I could have chased them down. So,
what board were you out on?
It's a little 6.0 like little fintail. So it's like a little small. Getting a little older, so I definitely need like a 6.1 or a 6.2.
Oh yeah, go up an inch. Yeah, you'll be fine.
a couple liters will do me. So. I ordered one. I just don't have it. It didn't come yet. So hopefully before this next one.
Yeah. Well, we are recording now, but we should do a formal start to this thing. So, Mike, I don't know how much Chris has kind of told you about what we're doing. I don't know if you've had a chance to listen to the Chris Chatterson interview or the Ashley Bickerton one, but we're kind of focusing now this whole segment on art and design, and kind of how people are inspired through surfing or the opposite way, like through their art to start surfing, however it may be. But sort of the intersection of what they do, design, art, photography wise, and surfing. So it's kind of like it's been a safe place for people who maybe in the past haven't talked too much about their surfing, like in the case of Ashley, and how it informs his work. So it's been pretty cool. So I'm glad to have you on. It's going to be fun.
Thank you.
Probably going to just bro out about, everything Long Island, because I'm like a middle island guy, and like you're in the West. I don't know how far east you venture. I'm guessing the whole length of the island, but it's wherever the waves are good, I guess. Exactly. People are like, "Where do you surf, Michael? Where the waves are good."
I've been one of that like notorious, like just wave chaser, like pretty much my whole life. So kind of like, and I feel like if I was to just kind of show my photography portfolio to either of you, it would be like right barrel from out east, right barrel from here, right barrel from, like, I just, whatever it is, I just will go anywhere if I can find some right hand tubes. But
come down to Jersey.
I do all the time,
Well, you see, I
feel like I should have moved there years ago, because it's like, it's my ideal setup.
I grew up a regular foot on Long Island, and I was more comfortable my backhand in the barrel than on my front hand. I moved down here about 5 years ago, and it was just mind-blowing how much fun I had.
Yep.
Yeah. Getting on your toes and getting in there, I like the view better on my backhand still, though.
Yep.
Well, that's the thing that kind of interests me too when I look at your work, is that like I feel like I've always had a connection to it whenever I see the images, because I feel like you're kind of like the local guy, like, and I can tell what jetty you're standing on. I can tell what angle of the dune you're standing on. I can tell if you're in town. I can tell if you're like in Lido. I could tell if you're, someplace else. Like, we'll try not to use, spot names and stuff like that. I can tell if you're east, west, central, or, I know exactly where you are. But when every once in a while you'll post something from Jersey, and I'm just like, man, where is that? So it's cool. It's definitely cool to watch your work. So I kind of wanted to frame this a little bit in terms of like how I perceive you and why we were interested in having you on. I just wanted to kind of let the people know who are listening to the podcast, like what our personal history is, and then kind of like let it grow from there, because I think, we can divulge a little bit that we're all getting older, right? I'm 50 years old, you're 48, and I remember meeting you when I was like somewhere around like 17 years old. And I felt like that was a really special time, at least in my surfing history, and maybe for you. Like, I think like the ages of like between like 17 and 30, in like the Lido Beach area or Long Beach area was really rich in terms of cultivating these personalities that like we were like a crew or like sub crews and larger crews, but we knew everybody, and you kind of knew when somebody came into the lineup and they weren't from where you were from. Not in a bad way, but I kind of felt like we all had that fabric and we knew each other growing up. And I remember seeing you in the water surfing, and, we got to know all of the characters, from back in the day, and we still see them floating around Long Beach. But I remember one day, it was almost like a flip was switched, and you were on your board less, and you were in the lineup floating around just like with like a hooded seal with a camera in your hand more. And you really, really took to it. And I remember that digital cameras hadn't even been invented yet. And I remember the camera that you were swimming around with was one of the throwaway 35 millimeter Kodaks that you would like drop off at the CVS. And I remember you just kind of like, as technology evolved and as your passion for photography evolved, your equipment evolved, and you became more of a mainstay in the lineup, swimming around with us, or out on the dunes with your new camera kit. And you were kind of like the only one doing what you were doing in that general vicinity of Long Island, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's definitely starting in film, and it was weird. And that bringing up that camera, yeah, the first couple times I ever shot it was a disposable camera, and they used to sell like like a plastic water housing, almost much like the GoPro ones today. And I used that a couple of times, and then I guess still living at home at the time, and my mother kind of saw me doing it a bunch, and she ended up buying me. I don't know if I could even find it or even research it, but it's like a Minolta 35 millimeter camera. I don't even know what lens was on the front, like this, just this, but you could put it in the water. It's like bright yellow and whatever. So I used that for a while, and then kind of like whatever, kept going and advancing, ended up using dive housings and this and that. But yeah, long story short, it's like back then it was like there was really nobody. The people that kind of like I would look up to would be photographers in the photography world, with guys from Florida, guys from all over. There were a couple guys from Jersey, but mostly Florida and California and everything. And to take what tips from them, and then to kind of go into like a 5 mil, that they're like talking to them about shooting in the water. And I'm trying to shoot in the water, and I got lobster claws on. I can't even like press buttons and stuff like that. So it's kind of like, a little bit weird, but eventually just trial and error, kind of figured out my own way, and just kept going, and just love to do it. So it's just kind of like been something I've wanted to. I feel like I never got the best shot of my life yet. Even to this day, I'm still trying to get that perfect photo.
Well, back then, who's your big influence? Like, I think about historically who's like shooting in the magazines. Think of like Art Brewer, Jeff Devine was before that probably. But was that like the same time as like DJ Struntz kind of coming up, or is he a little bit later?
Yeah, he was roughly, I guess, around the same time as me. When I tried to, I don't want to say tried, but I guess, yeah, tried to do the whole professional surf photographer thing. But yeah, he was about that time. For me personally, it's like, I don't know. I feel like I never really looked at like, images of one guy, and I'm like, oh, that's the guy. And I kind of wanted to emulate his work. But the one person above all who helped me and kind of was always there anytime I called, and I talked to him for hours on end and everything, was Dick Meserole, the guy, one of the owners of Eastern Surf.
Sure.
So he's originally from New Jersey, and then like I started contributing to Eastern Surf, and then I literally just, I guess we have that Northeast connection, and he just was always there for me. Anytime I ever had a question, point me in the right direction, and always supported my work too. So him above everybody else, as I owe everything to that guy for my surf photography career. Went on a few trips with him, and was like picking his brain, and it was just great memories, and definitely a lot of knowledge from him.
So it's interesting that you said you still haven't taken your best shot, right?
Yeah.
I feel like there's one shot there's a few shots that stick out for me that I've always really liked a lot. But I think the one that sticks out for me that I think might have gotten you the most attention was that one. I don't know who it was, but it just looks like this like massive like 10-foot backwash wave that's like launching some like guy into the sky.
Yeah.
Do you know? Where was that? That shot is on your website, and I looked at it again today, and I remember when you shot it. But like, where was that? Who was that? What was that story? Tell us about that.
Yeah. So that's Balaram in the photo.
Oh.
And it is at I'm sworn to secrecy on to where it was.
I have a feeling I know where it is, but
it's on the East Coast,
yeah.
Believe it or not, and it is an unbelievable spot. That day that we went, long story short, it's very difficult to get to. It's quite a mission. There's a lot of moving parts into just getting to the wave, and then it's it's just